Should we examine if Chip Kelly wants to stay with UCLA football? Okay, LeBron James doesn't want to trade, so now what? And Shohei Ohtani says he'll be ready to DH on opening day for the Dodgers. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. So it is February 4th, 2024, still in St. Loser misery. It's all right because it's Sunday. It's the Lord's Day. And if you believe as I do, take some time. Thank Him for all the blessings you have in your life, like LA sports. And if you like being in the know about LA, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. You guys know this. I look forward to hearing from you. Try to get back with all of you. Now, before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. Terrific day for the Angelenos. Everybody wins. Starting with the Lakers, who go over 500 with a 113-105 victory over the Knicks. LeBron James scores 24 points. Austin Reeves adds 22. We're obviously going to talk more about LeBron in just a moment. UCLA is back at 500. Dylan Andrews scores 21 points. UCLA defeats Oregon 71-63. And USC snaps a 6-game losing streak. Harrison Hornery scores 14 points, and the Trojans defeated Oregon State 82-54. Meanwhile, today the Clippers are at Miami at 3 o'clock. Kawhi Leonard is challenging his teammates to play better defense. Quote, I feel like these last few games have been based on talent, and we need to be focused on execution. But let's get to the news. Should we rethink the idea about Chip Kelly staying at UCLA? We've been talking about how there have been rumors, how he wanted to leave to become an offensive coordinator in the NFL, just abandon everything over at UCLA. Oh, too much pressure. The Rose Bowl isn't filling up. There's a plane every so often flying over, people begging to fire me, that kind of thing. Now, we could go in any number of directions here, and unfortunately, there's a targeted opaqueness to the way that Chip Kelly does things. I mean, about a week ago, we were talking about Mike Florio, a guy who is not known for his accuracy, claiming that Kelly was sending feelers out. Florio's sources were not from UCLA or the Raiders, which led me to believe it was from Chip Kelly, basically trying to make sure that UCLA wasn't thinking of firing him at the first sign of trouble this fall. Then Cliff Kingsbury, the former Arizona Cardinals coach and USC offensive analyst, took the Raiders' offensive coordinator gig away from Kelly. That would be according to The Athletic. But wait, here's a plot twist. Kingsbury has backed out of the Vegas gig. He did that just yesterday to allegedly pursue an offensive coordinator gig with the Washington Commanders. And so we're left asking ourselves, where exactly does this leave Chip Kelly? Because Kelly was also allegedly angling to join the Washington Commanders. Allegedly. NFL media, which I grant you is probably better sourced than Mike Florio, claims that the Raiders had talked with Kelly. So should we put stock, should we put money on the idea of Chip Kelly abandoning the Bruins? A case could be made. It actually could. How many assistant coaches have abandoned Kelly at the end of last season? I count 8. 8. And to the best of my knowledge, Kelly's only replaced one of them. Right? 7 vacancies. If you're going to leave so many jobs wide open and not even try to fill them, doesn't that kind of argue that maybe you just don't want to be there either? So there is that. Kelly is divisive. Kelly is divisive in a number of ways. And it's not just whether or not he fills his own coaching staff or how he does it. It's whether or not he recruits or how he recruits. Everything that Chip Kelly does has been throwing people for a loop. He's been getting some success out of it, but he keeps, again, targeted, purposeful opacity. He's not stepping up and telling you this is how we're building a team. He's not giving you any clues of this is who we're going to get to be a coach. And so is this all just basically Kelly playing a game right back at UCLA and their fans, not letting them know what his plans are for himself? For all we know, Chip Kelly is laughing his ass off at all of us while he's slicing drives over at a Topgolf. I don't know the answer yet. I still think if I were to put money on it, I think these stories are being put out by Chip Kelly's friends as a way to basically remind UCLA that if Kelly did decide to leave, he would say, one, I have contacts in football who would give me a job. And two, UCLA, if they don't feel like they're screwed already, they'd absolutely be screwed trying to reassemble their program on the fly with spring football practice just weeks away. The one thing that Chip Kelly can't do, however, is join the Raiders coaching staff. They apparently have a target in mind in a former Chicago Bears offensive coordinator. And by the way, again, Kingsbury is targeting Washington. So that tells me, and these are just educated guesses, that Chip Kelly is not going to have an offensive coordinator gig in the NFL to fall back on should this actually have some smoke to the fire. But you let me know, especially if you're a UCLA fan, would you be okay with Chip Kelly actually deciding to up and quit at the last minute and therefore screwing UCLA in their first year in the Big Ten? You tell me. One other note about UCLA, The Athletic tabbed Darius Muasau as the Senior Bowl's best linebacking prospect. The Scribes liked the UCLA linebacker because they said that he was fast, physical, and very vocal. In other words, communicating defensive calls to everybody around him. So sounds like the type of player you'd actually want on your team. LeBron James, just one day after his agent had to tell us that we were all idiots for believing internet trade rumors, LeBron James said he hasn't decided if he will return to the Lakers next year. Now, James can become a free agent at the end of this season. Here's the difference, though, between those daffy internet trade rumors that have been floating around and free agency. If LeBron James forced a trade, the Lakers would lose the trade. There is no such thing as getting value for a unicorn like LeBron James. You don't trade unicorns. You have one. What do you trade it for that's of equal value? Exactly. On the other hand, if he leaves in free agency, the Lakers get a boatload of cap space to use on elite players back. So there is that option there. Two, the other difference between a trade and free agency is if the Lakers actually did trade him, which again isn't going to happen, the trade would split LeBron James's family. Whereas if he decides to leave Los Angeles as a free agent, he has the entire summer to pack up his family with him and go wherever the hell they want to go. So I don't necessarily know, but I will tell you this, I wouldn't be nearly as panicked if LeBron James left as a free agent, because by then the Lakers would have contingency plans. The Lakers are not going to abandon ship on their entire season by trading away one of the game's all-time greatest players. But I will tell you this, Bill Plaschke of the LA Times, aka Captain Emo, is basically writing about how he's sick and tired of James's passive-aggressive act. So much so that he's actually encouraging James to demand to be traded. And that if he does, the Lakers should accommodate him immediately. Just send him out for whatever. But again, the question is, for who? For what? What do you get back by trading LeBron James? Bill Plaschke. You can get, we'll get 4 or 5 draft picks. Yeah, how many of these draft picks actually will turn into LeBron James? Anyone? Or are these draft picks more likely to be randos anywhere in the mid-first to late-first round? You're not going to get enough with future prospects. 4 or 5 good prospects do not equal 1 LeBron James. Straight and simple. Basketball does not work like Major League Baseball that way. You don't just trade a bunch of minor leaguers in the hopes that a couple of them flourish for an elite major leaguer. The NBA doesn't have that kind of setup. The talent is not that deep. And there's another thing I'd like you to know. There's a dirty little secret that nobody is bringing up to Bill Plaschke. Bill Plaschke has been in LA long enough to know that the Lakers are always surrounded by drama. He was there when it was Shaq and Kobe sniping at each other. Bill Plaschke arrived in LA in 1996, so he was definitely advised of how much drama was surrounding the Showtime Lakers. And longtime Laker fans, such as I, know that this team is always surrounded by drama. The Los Angeles Lakers are the Dallas Cowboys in that sense. There's always drama surrounding both teams. If you choose to be a fan of the Lakers, you learn to live with it. And why do I say you learn to live with it? Because once people start barking about how much they want LeBron James to be traded, he goes out and leads the team in scoring to a win in New York. Just like that. So no. If LeBron James leaves as a free agent, cool. But trying to force a trade out of him just because you don't like passive-aggressive behavior, shut the hell up. By the way, speaking of basement-dwelling bloggers who use NBA trade rumors like a vasodilator, remember how all the breathless scribes were out there screaming about how Zach LaVine wanted to be traded to the Lakers? Yeah, that's not happening now. Dead on arrival. He's going to have surgery on his right foot. He's going to be gone for most likely the rest of the season. The Lakers are not trading for damaged goods like that. Shohei Ohtani said he's very confident he'll be ready by opening day for the Dodgers, which, by the way, is not going to be in Southern California. It's actually going to be in Seoul, South Korea on March 20th. You recall, Ohtani had Tommy John surgery last year. The recovery for him to pitch is more than a calendar year, but play as a DH? Absolutely. Absolutely. Which would actually be a nice little, I would say, bump to the team's ego after last year's getting eliminated last year. Max Muncy yesterday was still complaining about being eliminated by Arizona. Quote, "It's still there. There's no way around it. We sucked," unquote. That's what he told Fox Sports. And I will tell you one thing about being a Dodger fan. It's never too early for Dodgers pitchers to get injured. So you know what? Why not get injured before spring training even starts? And for that matter, why not get injured before you even reach the major leagues? I bring this up because Nick Frasso, a top prospect for LA, is going to have surgery to repair a damaged labrum in his throwing shoulder. Now, Frasso was considered highly likely to reach the big leagues this year, but his personal high for innings thrown in a season is just 93 because he's injury prone, which basically makes him sound like a prototypical Dodgers starter, don't you think? I like Raheem Morris. I think we all like Raheem Morris. Raheem Morris needs to keep his damn hands off the Rams coaching staff. The guy has hired KJ Black and Nick Jones off the offensive staff. Now, The Athletic is presuming that these guys are going to coach offensive line and quarterback. That makes 3 dudes that Morris has taken away from Sean McVay. I'm telling you. Raheem Morris is starting to come off like the guy who gets invited over to your house for dinner and rewards you by stealing your silverware. Dude, you have to have contacts outside of LA. Come on now. We mentioned earlier about a prospect for linebacker out of UCLA. Scouts at the Senior Bowl also said that USC's wide receiver Taj Washington is a limited NFL prospect, but that his body control and his competitive nature to get a ball, to get a pass, are legitimate professional attributes. So he might not dominate in the NFL, but he probably has a job waiting for him. The Sparks have signed 3 players, and I would be lying to you if I said I knew anything about them. So please welcome to LA Taylor Mikesell, Virag Kiss, and former UCLA player Monique Billings. But you let me know what you think of the comments thread. Talk to me if you think that Chip Kelly is staying or leaving the Bruins. Tell me what you would hope LeBron James does starting this summer. And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.